nothing beats the feud in a family where one disappears and another fights for the crown.
It was not supposed to go this far.
It's the desire to succeed that keeps us going, the deception that keeps us digging, and the laughter pill that keeps us living. Music can be magical. It's the soul for life and gives immense peace to us. It has a powerful therapeutic effect on the human psyche. Whether secular or gospel, there's a song for everyone, every occasion, and every emotion.
God bless you.
Experience the more convenient future of rail transportation at the Kenya Railways Malaba Transshipment Hub. This innovative hub aims to reduce transport costs, eliminate non-tariff barriers, ensure fast cargo evacuation, and promote environmental sustainability. With a stacking capacity of over 1,000 TEUs and cutting-edge equipment, it offers last-mile connectivity to key destinations. Join us and be an integral part of the regional growth and development. Contact marketing at krc.co.ke for more information and embark on a journey of safe, efficient, and reliable transportation.
Good evening and welcome to the Legends Edition. I am Fayyaz Qureshi. Our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition is Lucy Mara. But first, a quick look at the highlights for tonight's bulletin.
Tumewapoteza watu watatu, watoto wawili na mama mmoja ambao walikuwa wanacheza kwa maji.
Floods wreak havoc in Mandera County, killing 3 people and leaving over 2,500 others displaced.
Waziri wa Ruto wa Finance anasema maneno Dr. Nyakango ameongea haijulikani. We want to hear him.
Explain the salaries exaggeration claims. The opposition team in the National Dialogue Committee demands answers from the National Treasury. And in sports, Kenya men's hockey team finishes 6th overall in the Africa Hockey Olympic qualifiers.
Welcome back. Starting off with our top story tonight, 3 people have died and over 2,500 others have been forced to evacuate their homes in Mandera County following a heavy downpour that persisted for 36 hours. The rains caused houses to be submerged, with candidates preparing to sit the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education cut off from schools by flooded roads.
Raging floods in Mandera County. The result of heavy downpour, which residents say lasted 36 hours. In the aftermath, 3 lives were lost. Two Standard 8 pupils who recently sat their Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations. The third victim is an 89-year-old lady. Over 2,500 people have been displaced. Mandera County Commissioner Amos Mariba said the affected have received humanitarian assistance.
Watoto wetu ambao wamefunga na wazazi waweze kuona kwamba watoto hawakaribii maeneo ambayo yamefurika maji au kwenda kucheza katika sehemu hizo.
For the villagers of the Rika in Halaliu, moving to higher grounds is their only safe bet as their homestead have been submerged.
Kiti yao yote imeshukuliwa na maji. Hawana kiti yote. Saa hizi mvua inaanza kukuja, hawana shelter yote, hawana kiti ya kukula.
Hasa lakini bola mzima imehama sababu sasa watu wameogopa kukua trapped na maji. Sasa hii bola hakuna watu, wote wametoka na wameenda banda juu.
Candidates about to sit their Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations have not been spared either.
Shule ziko pale, wale mahali watu wanaishi wako pale. Watoto hakuna mahali pa kupita.
According to the weatherman, heavy rainfall will continue the entire weekend with flooding in some regions. Yusufar reporting for the Legends edition.
President William Ruto has called on Tana River residents to work with the government in transforming the county into the nation's food basket. The head of state, who is on the third day of his coastal region tour, inspected the ongoing rehabilitation of Bura irrigation scheme. President Ruto, who was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, said over 25,000 acres in Bura constituency will be put under irrigation.
President William Ruto was in Lamu and Tana River counties to launch new development projects as well as inspect ongoing ones. In Tana River, he inspected rehabilitation of Bura irrigation scheme. The rehabilitation and expansion of Bura irrigation scheme will increase land under irrigation from 12,000 acres to 25,000 acres and improve production by 950,000 bags of rice.
Hapa kwenu Bura tunataka hizi ekari 25,000 kabla ya 2027 tuwe tunalima mpunga na tunazalisha chakula ndio mupate chakula na mutusaidie kulisha Wakenya wengine.
The head of state also inspected the construction of a 26-kilometer main canal that is gravity fed.
Alafu baadaye tukimaliza, nimeambiwa ya kwamba bado inahitaji milioni 450 na hiyo pesa nitaenda kutafuta ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba hii 26 kilometers tunaishughulikia na baadaye ile imebaki ya mwisho pia tukuje tuipangie vizuri.
Tana River County leaders who are lauding the government for expanding the irrigation scheme rallied their electorates to work with the government.
Hii umetupatia imani na ukasema ile 400 million imebaki utatimiza. Tuko na wewe, uko na foot soldiers, ukitutumizia hii 2027 hata usikuje huko.
Tunalete mchele kutoka ng'ambo, tunatumia rasilimali za kigeni na tunapata hasara kubwa. Sasa nyinyi tunataka mjiunge na ile watu ya huko Kirinyaga ya Mwea. Mulime mchele ya kutosha, mulishe hii watu ya Nairobi. Mutawadisha?
Yeshuki Washira, Legends Edition.
Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who doubles up as co-chair of the National Dialogue Committee, says they will demand answers from the National Treasury over claims of exaggerated salaries as alleged by the Controller of Budget. This as a section of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition lawmakers warned that they will shoot down the National Dialogue Committee's report in Parliament if it fails to recommend measures to lower the cost of living.
Wiper Democratic Movement Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka now says the Dialogue Committee will on Monday put the National Treasury to task to explain the claims of exaggerated salaries made by the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango.
Naona ndungu waziri wa Ruto wa Finance anasema maneno Dr. Nyakango ameongea haijulikani inatoka. We want to hear him.
While appearing before the committee last week, Nyakango alleged that her salary was budgeted 3 times.
Hiyo mshahara katika makadirio ya serikali national budget inawekwa 3 times. Therefore we are waiting for an explanation.
Kalonzo, who spoke after a worship service at Umoja 2 Seventh-day Adventist Church, also maintained that the opposition will not back down on the proposal to audit the 2022 general election results, while also calling for party fidelity.
Na mjue hatujapata suluhu juu ya kitu gani kilifanyika 2022, even before we talk about 2027. Na huo ndio msimamo wangu.
That even this issue of Jubilee, tafadhali utushikilie hapo, because hakuna haja tutengeneze viti za leader of opposition and yet we are destroying democracy, Your Excellency.
A section of lawmakers drawn from Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition also accompanied Kalonzo, led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, also warned that they will shoot down the bipartisan report in Parliament if it fails to tackle key issues affecting wananchi.
Hawa watu wa Nairobi wamesema mukileta hiyo report mimi niruke page zote niende direct kwa page ya unga. Na wameniambia hawa watu nikisoma hapo kwa hiyo page ya unga na nikute hakuna kitu mumefanya kuhusu unga, hiyo report ikikuja bunge niangushe.
We must look at how we can bring down the cost of living, kwa sababu watu wa Kenya wanaumia sana. Na tunataka hilo likuwe kama jambo letu ambalo tunapigania kama wanaazimio.
At the same time, legislators allied to the Wiper Democratic Movement have vowed to ensure that their party leader becomes Azimio la Umoja coalition's flag bearer in the 2027 general election.
Ndiye atakuwa rais wa 6 wa Jamhuri ya Kenya 2027. Na tuache kudanganyana jameni, hakuna haja kudanganyana, tusemane ukweli. We know what we want as a country. We want a steadfast leader, we want a honest leader, we want a God-fearing leader.
Msimamo wa chama cha ODM unatolewa na kinara wetu ambaye ni Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Yeye mwenyewe katika utathmini wake amemtaja Kalonzo kama kiongozi ambaye ni shupavu, kiongozi ambaye ni tofauti sana na uongozi ambao tuko nao katika taifa hili letu la Kenya.
Giverson Minor, Sunday Express.
The Council of Governors has promised to set aside funds in the county budgets to facilitate the employment of more doctors and specialists. At the same time, the COG and the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union have reached an agreement on the criteria for promoting doctors in counties.
The Council of Governors Health Committee Chair, Governor Muthomi Njuki, and Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union Secretary General Davji Atela met in Kathwana in Tharaka Nithi County to discuss the welfare of doctors.
I want to acknowledge that the role that the KMPDU is playing currently in Kenya is more or less working on a relationship with the counties who have the biggest health force for the health sector. And they are giving us a lot of advice that can be able to add value in how we can be able to improve our services.
Both COG and KMPDU reached an agreement on issues of concern, including promotion of doctors, enhanced medical cover for health practitioners, and better pay.
Promise that in their budget that is coming in the next financial year, they're going to see to either they increase the number of health workforce. They've also looked into the way to retain the consultants so that they can actually attract.
Governor Njuki emphasized the need for a closer working relationship with the health workers' unions for the success of universal health coverage, since the counties are the biggest implementers.
Have harmony in how we shall implement the promotions of health workforce, and also we have asked on our part that they need to continue talking to their members who are the medical doctors, to continue upholding professionalism.
To promote a preventive rather than a curative approach, the two agreed on the need for capacity building of community health promoters who will be working closely with both doctors and other health personnel in reducing congestion at referral hospitals. Dorina Range for Legends Edition.
The government maintains that all those who have encroached on riparian land, wetlands and forests must vacate immediately. Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya says the government is keen on restoration of the country's forest cover in line with the United Nations recommendation and wants all stakeholders to play their part.
Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya says encroaching on forest land, wetlands and riparian land is hindering restoration and afforestation efforts.
The operations have started from the Mao Forest Complex, and we shall be moving to every part of this country. And I'm happy, I'm told, in Kisumu there is no encroachment.
Soipan revealed that while a number of counties have attained way above the recommended 10% forest cover, many, including Kisumu and Siaya counties, are lagging behind.
We should be planting at least 4 million seedlings a day. Only. What if 20 million Kenyans committed to be planting a tree every day? In your own homestead, in your shamba, in your neighborhood. And remember, it's a life and death. It's for generations to come. It will change the landscape of our country.
Soipan spoke as she joined the newly launched Professional Association of Nyanza Women, members in planting 1,000 trees at Maseno University.
Let us pull our efforts together, and the regional development agencies, LVBC being one of them, we will be having a national day set aside, gazetted, not a holiday, but in this short rain season, for every individual Kenyan to go back to their place of choice and do what they have to do in contributing to the 15 billion trees. That is coming in a few days.
Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, Eludo Walo, called on women to take the lead in environmental conservation as they bear the greatest brand in extreme weather conditions.
Starting with the students, if Madam Soipan has the target of 15 billion trees, all of us as Kenyans must have a contributing component towards the planting of those trees.
And environment are interconnected from time immemorial. Women have been personified as powerful symbols of nature. You hear words of such as Mother Earth. Why didn't they say Father Earth? And I'm not the one who said Mother Earth. The Earth goddesses and the like. Women's workload is also often centered on managing natural resources, biodiversity and ecosystems. Your experiences and perspectives as women are therefore essential to sustainable development and environmental conservation and protection for a healthy planet for generations to come.
Professional Association of Nyanza Women seeks to plant 1 million trees in Kisumu, Siaya, Migori and Homa Bay counties as part of the nationwide tree planting target of 15 billion trees by 2030. Achola Simon, Legends Edition, Kisumu County.
Right, it's time for a quick break and we'll be back in a short while. Stay with us.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees ya mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Loto Moto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Saving tips brought to you by Equity. Masaa ya akiba ni sasa. Saving enables you to set aside money towards realizing your financial goals, whether long-term or short-term goals. The savings also come in handy during difficult financial times. Start saving today. Simply use the Equity mobile app or log on to Equity Online.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi. Wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku hii ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Welcome back. Political leaders from the Ma-speaking counties have signed an agreement to form a Ma economic bloc that will include Narok, Kajiado and Samburu counties to address matters of common interest affecting their people. Meanwhile, the Jurin Cheke Meru Council of Elders has carried out a cleansing ceremony for a mugumo tree that fell, which they claim signifies an impending momentous occurrence. Tilio Marco with more.
The agreement to form the Ma Economic Bloc and annul the narrow Kajiado Economic Bloc to include Samburu County, which is part of the North Rift Economic Bloc, was signed during a quarterly meeting for the Ma leadership in Naivasha, Nakuru County.
The narrow Kajiado Economic Bloc today has brought Samburu on board, Samburu County, and the name has changed from narrow Kajiado to Ma Economic Bloc, in line with the other blocks within the Republic.
The leadership of the three counties also vowed to push for the creation of the Ilchamus constituency in Baringo County as a matter of priority for representation in Parliament to end years of marginalization of the community. The resolution was signed by political leaders from Kajiado, Narok and Samburu counties.
In our midst, we have our brothers from Baringo as well, and they highlighted the thorny matter of representation and the need for Ilchamus constituency in Baringo County.
Meanwhile, the Njuri Ncheke Meru Council of Elders has carried out a cleansing ceremony for a mugumo tree that fell on Wednesday in Kinoru area in Meru town. The tree is said to be the second mugumo tree to fall down on its own in a span of 2 weeks, a phenomenon believed to signify a change of leadership in the county.
Na ishara ya mugumo kung'oka sio hivi hivi. Kuna mugumo ilikuwa hapa showground, iling'oka juzi.
Waliona ni vizuri to cleanse, na wakaita wale wanajua mambo ya culture ndio tuje, ama mambo ya utamaduni ndio tuje tufanye ile inaitwa cleansing.
Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza was impeached by the County Assembly on the 25th of last month, and the matter is currently before the Senate. Tilio Marco for Legends Edition.
The Meru County Executive and the County Assembly have both submitted to the Senate relevant documents to set in motion the impeachment trial of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Verification of the documents is expected to be done before Monday and then returned to both parties ahead of the two-day plenary hearing in the Senate slated for Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Governor Kawira is facing 7 charges leveled against her by the Meru County Assembly, among them misuse of county resources. She is the first governor to face the plenary in the current parliament. In the 12th parliament, the then Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, Francis Waititu of Kiambu and Nderitu Gachagua of Nyeri had their impeachment trials heard in the Senate plenary.
The Senate is scheduled to hold plenary sittings on Tuesday, 7
We have a technical issue with the footage. We'll try and come back to it later. In the meantime, we'll move on to the next story. A section of the business community in Lurambi constituency, Kakamega County, is raising the alarm over a possible outbreak of cholera and other waterborne diseases due to the use of contaminated water. The traders say waste collected in the town is being disposed near water sources and, if not addressed urgently, will put the health of residents at risk.
Masingo Market in Lurambi constituency, Kakamega County, is one of the areas grappling with unhygienic waste disposal. Traders here say they are pleased to the relevant authorities go unheard.
Takataka yenyewe venye zinawekwa hapa, maji na iko hapa, tunaweza pata ugonjwa na watoto. Sana sana hapo kwa maji. Unajua maji, hoteli iko hapa, maji iko hapa. Watu ndio uchafu ndio hapa, machungwa ndio hapa, watu wanauza hapo.
The stench and the flies emitting from the waste are adversely affecting those in the food business.
Takataka yuko juu, maji yenye tunatumia yuko chini. Hiyo inamaanisha uchafu ikitoka huko juu inateremka mpaka kwa maji. Na hiyo maji ndio tunatumia kwa hoteli, sisi wenyewe tunakunywa.
Unapopakulia customer chakula kule kwa hoteli, unapata hiyo meza imejaa na inzi, na hizo inzi ni kubwa kubwa. So inafanya customer hawakuli hiyo chakula sana. Wakiona hizo inzi kwa hoteli, hata ukipanguza namna gani, hiyo inzi haziondoki kwa sababu ya hii takataka.
They have pointed an accusing finger at the county public health officers in Kakamega County and contractors responsible for waste collection for the situation which exposes them to cholera and waterborne diseases.
Tunaona hii county ni kama itusaidii. Hata watu wa Nehema ni kama watushuguliki. Kama uchafu inayosajazwa hapa inatuadhiri sisi, na hakuna mtu mwenye tukitoa malalamishi, hakuna mtu mwenye anatushughulikia.
John Muniafu, the Kakamega County National Environmental Management Authority Director, says the region's waste dumping site at Rosterman is open for use and warned those disposing garbage elsewhere.
We want to caution the traders and also other individuals who are dumping waste within the urban areas of Kakamega in areas that are not designated as disposal areas to adhere to the requirements under the waste management regulations, to adhere to the guidelines provided to them by the county government of Kakamega and the Kakamega municipality.
Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Legends Edition.
The port of Mombasa received another cruise ship a few weeks after the departure of the world's largest floating book fair, MV Logos Hope. The cruise liner SH Diana, which has 57 passengers and 109 crew members on board, arrived on Saturday morning from Lamu Port, where it had docked for more than 8 hours. The arrival of the cruise ship is expected to boost the tourism sector in the country as the peak season approaches.
At exactly 7 a.m. Saturday morning, SH Diana, ferrying 57 passengers and 109 crew members, docked at the port of Mombasa. The cruise liner arrived in the country from Pemba Island on Friday and docked at the Lamu port. Kenya Ports Authority Head of Corporate Communications Bernard Osoro says the SH Diana is the first cruise ship to dock at the port of Lamu since it began operations.
Yesterday she was in Lamu and some passengers toured the island, which you know is a highly prestigious place under the UNESCO regulations. And they had a day despite the rains. And overnight they boarded and have traveled all the way to Mombasa. They're here today for a day again. About 5 passengers have already disembarked, and some are in town and some have gone to tour places like Samburu, Amboseli, before they come back. And then in the evening they'll disembark to Seychelles.
In anticipation of the arrival of more cruise vessels at the two ports in the coming months, Kenya Ports Authority is collaborating with key tourism stakeholders and members of the Cruise Africa Association to enhance facilities.
We are working very closely with key stakeholders like Kenya Tourism Board, the PAMESA as an organization, and other members of the Cruise Africa Association to see how we can best make this facility and the port of Mombasa the home port for some of the cruise vessels. Just like we have some of the vessels using the ports of South Africa as home ports. If we have this as a home port, it will be very easy for having regular sales, because we should be able to facilitate all the needs of the vessels from this end.
The tourists expressed their voyage as not only enjoyable but also enlightening in terms of cultural experiences.
We've been very welcome, very warm welcome, and people are there very friendly. It was raining, so a little bit difficult to move, but we are not made of sugar, so we're allowed to walk around with no problem. It was very nice, very, very interesting.
From Mombasa, the SH Diana will head to Mahi Island in Seychelles.
We'll now go back to the Mwangaza hearing story. The footage has been received. The Meru County Executive and the County Assembly have both submitted to the Senate relevant documents to set in motion the impeachment trial of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Verification of the documents is expected to be done before Monday and then returned to both parties ahead of the two-day plenary hearing in the Senate slated for Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Governor Kawira is facing 7 charges leveled against her by the Meru County Assembly, among them misuse of county resources. She is the first governor to face the plenary in the current parliament, and in the 12th parliament, the then Nairobi governor Mike Sonko, Francis Waititu of Kiambu, and Deritu Gachagua of Nyeri had their impeachment trials heard in the Senate plenary.
The Senate is scheduled to hold plenary sittings on Tuesday 7th November and Wednesday 8th November to hear and determine the impeachment motion of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. By 5 p.m. this evening, both parties had handed over to the Senate 80 copies each of their submissions, which include witness statements and any other relevant evidence. As per the procedure, once submissions have been received and documents verified, each party will exchange a few copies of their submissions in order to prepare for defense and cross-examination of witnesses, if any.
Following the reading of the charges against the governor,
last Tuesday, after receiving the resolutions by the Meru County Assembly, the Senate found itself sharply divided on the best approach to the impeachment hearing.
The threshold for removal of a governor has been set in the law. It is the responsibility of this House, Mr. Speaker, to find out whether on the facts and the evidence that threshold has been made. And in my submission, Mr. Speaker, it is close to impossible in an interrogation such as the one that happens in plenary to establish the facts and the law of the allegations and whether that threshold has been met.
I want to plead with our colleagues. Even if you're pursuing a particular interest, don't be unfair on the House. Don't cast aspersions to the House and believe that for whatever reason, members will suddenly not reason. That the only way you can concentrate is if you're reduced from being 67 to only 11 of you.
Both sittings next week are scheduled to start at 9 a.m. However, senators will retreat to a closed-door pre-hearing meeting before making the plenary hearing public at 11 a.m. Governor Kawira Mwangaza, who 10 months ago survived her first impeachment motion at the Senate, is accused of embezzling county funds through her relatives, nepotism and related unethical practices, illegal appointments and usurping of statutory powers, illegally naming of a public road after husband, contempt of the Assembly, among others. In the plenary hearing, all senators will be given an opportunity to scrutinize the accusations before voting on each charge. Kamche Menza for the Legends edition.
The Korea community has embarked on the use of cultural music and art to help eradicate the female genital mutilation scourge during the school holiday. The initiative aims at using the local Korea dialect to help reach the masses and the perpetrators of the vice, some of whom do not understand English and Kiswahili. This and more in our county news roundup.
The Korea community has decried how female genital mutilation continues to derail many girls from achieving their dreams. They say the use of music and arts in the Korea language will help impart more knowledge and help eradicate the vice from the community.
Through this festival is to sensitize the community through local and original arts to talk about these things. We are giving them a platform to talk about the issues that they're facing in life, and we are measuring particularly on faith freedom and feminism.
Elsewhere in Kilifi County, the Malindi Children's Court Users Association has expressed concerns over the rising cases of sexual offences against children in Malindi and Magarini sub-counties.
Led by Malindi Chief Magistrate Elizabeth Usui, the association noted that 139 sexual offences against children had been recorded at the Malindi Law Courts so far this year, up from 96 in 2022.
Ikifika Januari tutaambiwa cases zimekuwa kiasi gani. Kwa hivyo mwito wetu sisi kama washikadau, wazazi, watoto wanakuja kwenu nyumbani saa hizi. Jamani, tuweze kusaidiana ili ikifika Januari tusiwe na hizi cases.
Meanwhile, residents of Embu County have called on the government to ensure projects outlined for the region are well-funded and contractors locally sourced if the county is to benefit.
Wananchi wanafaa kusema kinagaubaga ile project yenye wanataka ifanyike ama zile project ziko kwa roho zao. Na hii ni muhimu zaidi kwa sababu ownership ya project za serikali lazima ikuwe wananchi.
In Kajiado County, more than 150 flower farm workers in Isinya are up in arms after they were allegedly fired without notice. The agitated workers say they have been dismissed without severance pay and SACCO contributions in addition to 3 months salary arrears.
Tumefanya kazi kwa hii kampuni over than 10 years. Na hatujalipwa mshahara kitu ya kwanza, hatujalipwa service, na mdozi wetu alichukua pesa zetu za SACCO hajatupea.
And former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has commended President William Ruto for being the voice championing climate change in Africa and advocating for agricultural transformation in the technologies being adopted by farmers across the continent. He spoke in Nairobi at the conclusion of the African Conference of Agricultural Technology.
To the President Ruto, he has been a voice in terms of climate change in Africa. He's been a voice in improvement of agriculture, and we will expect him to continue to do more for us.
Finally, the spouse of the Deputy President, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, has called on university students to always get someone to talk to when they encounter difficult situations.
Where our children get frustrated and they are depressed and they get into the level of wanting to commit suicide and all that. Institutions of higher learning is a place of the greatest investment.
Pastor Dorcas made the remarks at Karatina University in Nyeri, where she urged the youth to resist the lure of alcohol, drugs, and substance abuse. Jacqueline Masharia for Legends Edition.
Squeezy barabara ninywe.
Kenya Roads Board is committed to ensure an efficient road network for a prosperous nation. Kenya Roads Board, your fuel levy at work.
Cheza Loto Moto.
School fees ya mtoto imelipwa, lakini bado tunataka kuendelea throughout.
Lotomoto imekuja kwa maisha yetu when I needed it the most. That is all I can say for now. I'm so grateful. May God bless you.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Christine.
Yes, can you please open?
Trish, huyu mwanamke hata ingia hapa bila ruhusa.
I'm willing to give up on Pete.
Mimi sioni kama Pete anataka kuachana na Christine.
My dear, kwa street upewangi bwana. Unachukuanga bwana.
Na Jackie unachukia Jane?
Wacha niwachia hapo, sitaki maneno.
Aniambie tu Jackie.
Nini umemwambia kunihusu? Hakuna, only good things.
So when are you guys tying the knot?
Yes, babe, when are we tying the knot?
Marriage si rahisi.
Wewe mwenyewe marriage yako haijai work. Sasa hizi advice zote unanipeanga ni za nini? Haya. No more trouble in paradise.
Trisha, how are you feeling?
Vengeful.
Hello and good evening, and once again it's a big welcome to the sports segment of the Legends edition this Saturday evening. Starting with hockey, where the national hockey men's team finished 6th overall in the ongoing hockey Olympic qualifiers after narrowly losing 4-3 to Nigeria in the 5th place playoff match played at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. The Kenyan boys bowed out of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games qualifiers on Wednesday after losing 3-1 to Ghana in their last group match. Meanwhile, Ghana will face Uganda in the 3rd place playoff match, while Egypt will square it out with South Africa in the final match. In the women's competition, Kenya will face Ghana in the 3rd place playoff match, and the winners will book a ticket to next year's Olympic Games in Paris. Wish the girls best of luck. On golf, Chandler Fry is the overall champion of the first edition of the Disc Golf Tournament held today at the Rimpa Estates Wildlife Conservancy in Kiserian. Zoe Andike was the best woman in the one-day tournament that brought together players who competed in more than 5 categories. Let's have a look.
Chandler Fry displayed his best performance ever to win the overall title of the disc golf tourney at Rimpa Estate, edging Alex Meyer and Cameron Banks, who were the other podium finishers.
The game was good. I actually ended up shooting 19 down, a course record by 6 strokes, so I didn't miss any holes. And I got an eagle on one of the holes as well, so it was a lot of fun today.
I want to get as many schools playing so we can have tournaments throughout the year, like schools would have tournaments in every other sport. I want to see that happen with disc golf.
Zoe Andike was the best lady in the pro category after narrowly edging Raven Klein, who managed second spot.
It's creating a happier and a healthier environment because it's so accessible. The goal worldwide is that more people would enjoy it because it is a way to enjoy yourself, enjoy your time alone or with friends and family. So happier, healthier communities.
James Koizumi was unmatched in the mixed amateur 1 category, beating Umar Kalepi and Godfrey Tuhaise, who settled for 2nd and 3rd positions respectively.
The techniques of playing the game, I mean, it's interesting because the discs that you throw, of course, are susceptible to the wind. So the more windy it is, the harder you have to throw the disc and the lower you have to throw it, or else the wind will take it and put it somewhere you don't want.
In the women mixed amateur 2, Prudence Njiru topped the list of players as Diana Nanyanzi had to console her efforts with 2nd position. Elizafan Nyakweba and Kim Johnson were the top players in the mixed amateur 4 and the women amateur 4 categories respectively.
My concern to the government is that I would like them to support the disc golf team in making it to be viral.
The 18-hole course game, which involves both the professional and amateur players, will be introduced in universities, which will then open the door for other levels. The long-term vision is to see the game being played in the Olympics.
Now, more than 500 junior swimmers are taking part in the Kenya Aquatic Time Trials Championships taking place at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. The 2-day event comes to an end tomorrow, with winners grabbing a slot to represent Kenya in the forthcoming international assignments in Kigali, Rwanda. Let's take a listen.
According to the Kenya Swimming Federation President Maureen Owiti, the selected team will take part in the African Aquatic Zone 3 Championships, slated to take place between the 23rd and 26th of this month in Kigali, Rwanda.
We're just taking the people with the highest FINA point. Zone 3 will be an age group category, so that's in each of the age groups. Whereas Africa Juniors, the swimmers are between 14 and 18 years old. For World Championships, we have a stricter criteria. All the swimmers must have met above 600 FINA points.
Kenya will also take part in the African Junior Championships set to take place between 3rd and 6th of December in Mauritius, and the World Swimming Championships set for February next year in Doha.
Swimming has been a bit hard, but it's worth it because
you get faster every time you try your best.
Maureen also noted that there are talks between the county sports ministries to introduce county leagues in all counties in the country.
So far I've swum 2 events, 50 back and 50 fly. I cut 1 second in my back and 2 in my fly. And how to maintain. I normally my coach normally tells me what to do, right? So if it's maintaining my kicks or controlling my breathing, that's what I improve in.
Also in attendance was the Assistant Commissioner of Sports, Elizabeth Omalwa, who said that the government will support the development of swimming in the country.
We are trying to support many sports, many disciplines, so that we can have bigger numbers in Olympics. So swimming coming in, and we know that many of them are potential swimmers and able to get into the Olympics. It's going to add to the numbers.
Kenya will be taking part in the competition for the first time after the lifting of the ban by FINA.
All the swimming lovers, get back to the water, get out of the woods, get back to the waters, improve your timing wherever you are, and swim clean. That is the message we want to pass to you. Swim clean, do not dope, forget about doping.
The curtains of the National Aquatics Time Trials come down tomorrow, with all the swimmers looking forward to be selected in the squad that will represent Kenya in the international tournament. Daniel Mwendwa, Legends Edition.
Now over to Kabaddi. Githurai Cheetahs Kabaddi team began the second leg of the men's league on a high note after beating TAC Kabaddi 23-3 in a match played at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. 12 men and 6 women's teams are competing for a slot in the Kabaddi Premier League, with the finals and playoffs scheduled to be held from the 3rd to the 10th of February next year. Let's take a look.
Githurai Cheetahs won the match by 20 points after registering a comfortable 23-3 victory over TAC Kabaddi team. Tobias Mureithi was the man of the match with 9 tackles and 9 raids. In other results, James Kamweti scored a total of 35 points as Black Falcons thrashed KU Hawks 55-49, while Kasarani Lions defeated Kiambu Plackers by 9 points in a match that ended 51-42.
Fantastic tackle there. Fantastic tackle. Oh, Alano did reach the center line.
In the Women's League that entered the 3rd round today, Kasarani Lionesses beat JKUAT team 69-36.
Fantastic dash. She rages her. She struggles. Oh no, she doesn't hit the center line.
Brenda Kwamboka was named the lead of the match after carding 28 points.
Kwamboka, fantastic dash from number 8 from the right corner. She doesn't reach the center line.
12 men and 6 women teams are competing for a slot in Kabaddi Premier League, with the final and playoffs scheduled to be held from 3rd to 10th of February next year. King Orimwangi for Legends Edition.
Towards the end of 2013, I just developed a lump kwa my right breast. Sikuwa nakaelewa. But after 1 week, kakitu kalikuwa kakamegro kiasi. Wengine hata wataki kudisclose ya kwamba ni wagonjwa. Mimi ile kitu nilifanya ni kama niliambia dunia yote niko mgonjwa. Hapo ndipo niliona ukweli si ati kansa ni kifo. Ni bora tu inaanza kwa akili yako. Ukishakubali ya kwamba uko mgonjwa, matibabu uanze, na ukubali unaanza matibabu, unapata kupona.
Cheza Loto Moto.
We've gone ahead tukamaliza pia school fees ya your other kid.
Thank you God. Asante sana Loto Moto.
Cheza Loto Moto. Shinda pesa moto moto.
Welcome back. Now over to the motor racing scene, where a total of 16 cars, led by defending champion Jasmine Chana and legendary driver Ian Duncan, will start off the prestigious Guru Nanak Rally, which revs off on Sunday morning at Nakuru County's Elementator terrain. With torrential rains pounding most of parts of the country at the present, the penultimate round of the 2023 Kenya National Rally Championship will present a muddy and slippery challenge to the racing crews. After reconnaissance and pre-event scrutineering at the Sikh Union Club in Nairobi, Clerk of the Coast Gahir Rahib promised a great run in the Great Rift Valley. Drivers will tackle a total of 7 speed tests to complete a competitive mileage of 160 kilometers and a liaison distance of 32 kilometers. Mbweha Stage is the designated spectator and power stage and will be repeated thrice, while Soi Sambu and Sleeping Warrior will be repeated twice. Now, 25 coaches have graduated in the 4th KBC coaching course held at the Kenya Institute of Special Education. The course, under the tutelage of veteran tactician Salim Ali, lasted for 4 months and has now expanded the count of KBC coaches in Kenya to 100. Let's take a listen.
Among the graduates is Mukasa Amboko, a dedicated teacher at Kumbani Secondary School. His coaching journey began in 2016 when he pursued the CAFD certification, recognizing the need for improvement in the competitive performance of Kwale compared to other regions. Football Kenya Federation CEO Barry Otieno, who presided over the graduation ceremony, said the federation has made it a priority to equip educators with the necessary tools to effectively nurture young football talents.
When you look at the course, the content, it actually addresses the need areas where we have been needing to know more, like periodization, the science of football, session planning, and long-term player development. So I would say that the knowledge is actually going to be a game changer, because when you look at our football, we cannot underscore the importance of schools.
Throughout the course, the coaches delved into various subjects including periodization, football science and media relations. The course, under the tutelage of Salim Ali, lasted 4 months and has now expanded the count of CAFB coaches in Kenya to 100.
Naweza peana mwito katika kina dada wajitokeze kwa wingi na wasome, kwa sababu tukisema federation wapeane equal chances kama vile wanapeana men, lakini hawa wanawake wenyewe wako wapi? Hatuwezi fatwa manyumbani kwetu. Ni sisi wenyewe kama kina dada tujitoe katika mistari ya mbele, tuweze kusoma, na ni kweli federation iko hapa itatushika mkono na tutaweza kuonekana zaidi.
Ile knowledge nimetoka nayo hapa sasa ni knowledge nyingine kubwa sana. Kwa hivyo hata nikirudi kwa club level huko penye na huwa nafanya kazi, kuna vitu nitajaribu kuimplement zile nimerani huko vitu mpya. Kwa hivyo ningeaje tena kama inawezekana federation tena ilete course nyingi kama hizi, ili wale wa makocha wenye kupata chance ya kuingia kwa hii class wapate nao chance ya kuingia class next. Ingekuwa poa sana.
Now, from handball, Nairobi Water continued their dominance in the Women's Kenya Handball Federation League by thrashing JKUAT 42-16 in one of the league matches played today at the Nyayo National Stadium. Let's take a look.
Nairobi Water's Cecilia Kathemi and Brenda Musambai topped the scoring charts with 9 goals each to help Nairobi Water to a resounding win over JKUAT, maintaining their prominence in the league. In the men's competition, Trans Nzoia got a narrow win over Wakanda by edging them 34-32, with Dan Goni, Emmanuel Lebule and Edwin Wanyonyi scoring 6 goals each for Trans Nzoia.
Well, from Nyayo Stadium, we're over to the boardroom where Extreme Sports CEO Hussein Mohammed has emphasized on the need to have proper management in football. saying the sport can change the lives of many youths in this country. Speaking at a fundraising dinner in aid of FKF Division 1 side Kibra United, Hussein called on football stakeholders to look at the bigger picture and endeavor to have a sound leadership of the Football Kenya Federation so as to grow the sport in Kenya. Let's take a listen.
I think what is important for us is to keep on insisting that there needs to be good governance in all our clubs, in all our administrative management levels, that there has to be transparency, accountability and integrity in how we manage sports in the country. This is the only way we'll be able to sustain development in that sector. There's certain key ingredients, I think, that are important for any football club to be successful in Kenya. First of all, there has to be significant investment in infrastructure. There has to be significant investment in capacity building. And once that is done, then we'll be able to commercialize the sport. We'll be able to now provide a good platform where the talented players or the players in that particular team will be able to earn a decent living. Unless we do that, unless we put in the investment and put in the hard work, it'll be very difficult to sustain it over time. So the investment in infrastructure by government, private sector in supporting the clubs is critical for us to achieve this long-term objective.
Now, the Technical University of Mombasa TUM is targeting the overall title of the season's Kenya University Sports League, having invested in formidable teams that can win both the league and this year's Varsity Rugby League. Mashujaa emphasized the need for all universities in Kenya to prioritize sports, which is a key contributor to academic excellence. TUM has been dominant in many university sports disciplines, among them rugby, basketball, football, handball, rollball, and hockey. Let's take a listen.
Sports nurtures a player all round. That is discipline-wise, psychologically, even the aspects we are talking about today, mental wellness. A player is always a disciplined person because he's used to following rules of the game. So if somebody is used to following rules, even when it comes to management perspective of the university, they become also disciplined. They become role models to the rest of the students. And most players, their completion rate is very high.
Now, on the international soccer scene, we have the EPL results, where Bruno Fernandes scored a 91st minute winner against Fulham to relieve the pressure on Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag. United look to be heading to another game without And that's all we had for you from the sports segment of the Legends Edition this Saturday evening. Hoping that you enjoyed yourselves and also had quite a good run of what was sporting this week. And remember that again next Saturday we again another bump edition from the sports segment. And remember that after this we shall have the Rumba with Mfumo, Winnie Marie Jose and DJ Salim. Fayyaz, it's up to you now to wrap up the show tonight.
Thank you very much, Toby. With the latest in sports. A bit sad that Kenya didn't qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah, quite a pity.
We'll discuss it later.
No, of course. Yeah.
Great to have you here, Toby. And we'll link up next week. And that's all from our newsroom. Our sign language interpreter for tonight's edition was Lucy Mwaura. I'm Fayyaz Qureshi.
And I'm Toby Gambila saying ciao ciao.
Good night.